All right, I think this is recording. So, hello, my name is Madison Moore, and today I'll be presenting my Disability Studies and Community Inclusion capstone. First, I just want to start this off by saying hello, Jodelle, and I'm so sorry that I haven't been in person this semester, but I did want to just thank you for the online option. It made my life a lot easier running from class all day. I have 4 classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so to know that I could have this as an online option was extremely accessible and helpful to me. So I really appreciate that, and I'm very excited to be able to share this with you. Even though it couldn't be face to face, I'm glad that we can kind of have this little interaction. So, again, also I want to apologize in advance if you hear any background noise. My roommates do have some people over right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep this going, and hopefully there won't be too many distractions. But okay, so I am first gonna start off by kind of just talking about what inspired my capstone project. So I did choose to create accessible menus for Ponder Coffee Company specifically. But the way this kind of came about was I attended Leadership this year in January. And so if you don't know what Leadership is, it is a week-long leadership conference, which really encourages students to get to know one another, but really find themselves and find their true identity, learn about their values, what they're passionate about, and then kind of be built up to accomplish your goals and think about what your dreams are and what kind of world you want to see. And so at Leadership, I talked about how I want to live in an accessible world, in a world that is universally designed. Everyone's welcome included. There's no need to go the extra mile or go out of your way to get into a building, but it's all just accessible for everyone. So I'm first going to start off by sharing this image with you. Let me share my screen. Oh yes. Okay, so there's a lot going on my screen right now. So let me go ahead and make this large. Perfect. So hopefully you can see this right now, but this was the vision I created at Leadership. So this project that we did was everyone was given this large sticky note, and we were to kind of bring our idea to life. And this is the futuristic article, as if we lived in the dream and in the vision that we created. So mine was called, this article that was written in the future after my vision had come true, was called Accountability for Accessibility. And so kind of in this, I just talk about how, in this, I even mentioned Braille menus at restaurants, adaptive fitness equipment. There is no lack of elevators or ramps or anything like that. And so I really just wanted to take a moment to show you that because this conference took place January before we came back and school began. So I did give up some of my winter break to attend that conference, and it truly did change my life, and it's something I've thought about all semester. So when given the opportunity to be creative with our capstone, I knew that I could take a step towards creating my big vision by starting with the first small step of creating an accessible menu. So that's a little bit of that. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I'm going to stop sharing that, and now I'm going to share my my menu. So okay. Okay, now I'm also going to expand this so you can see that. Oh, I think I expanded the wrong thing for you. My apologies. Okay. Here we go. Awesome. Okay, hopefully you can see this again. So this is my accessible menu. Again, I created this for Ponder Coffee Company, and the reason I selected Ponder is because they have so many locations. So we actually have one in the library on Franklin Street, one downtown, and one just opened in the Health Professions building. So I think it's really cool that this is a popular company in Mount Pleasant, and they're continuing to expand. And so by kind of targeting them with just one simple accessible menu, it's something they can incorporate within all their different locations. So that's really exciting. And also just how this ties into my vision and things like that from leadership. I wanted this to be real and tangible. So before I started this project, I actually reached out to the owner of Ponder and touched base with him. And I actually saw him in person at Ponder one day because I had emailed Ponder before, but I didn't get a response back. And I went into the library location and I saw him there and I was like, okay, this is him. I need to talk to him. So I introduced myself, told him kind of the idea of the project and what I wanted to do. And he encouraged me and said to go for it, that I could use the pictures off of the social media on Ponder and anything he had, that he could be a resource for me. And he actually did tell me that once his project was completed, he would implement it in his location. So that's something that's still in the works right now. I just obviously wanted to complete this capstone first for the class credits and things like that. But it is something I've been talking about with him since that first interaction. And I kind of share this with him this evening as well. So I'm excited to get his feedback and kind of see where this goes. And hopefully this is something people can use. And also something I wanted to preface as well is that this is not a complete menu of all of Ponder's items. They have a wonderful wide selection of so many different things, and there is not photos of everything. And just with the timing of this project and kind of the busyness of the owner and my own busy schedule as well, it was difficult to try to take a picture of every single item in order for this project. So this is just kind of a brief layout of what it could look like, but I think it is a step in the right direction for what it could be. And if this is something he enjoys and think is easily capable of implementing in his restaurant, then I'm super excited about it. So okay, let's kind of jump in. So as you can see, I kind of have these, yeah, I'll zoom out a little bit. So I listed 4 items on each page because I really wanted to focus on making the images big and visible, and kind of just in general, that's something I really thought about. Disability or not, I think it is so nice to have a picture. Some people are, really great with words and better learn that way, and others learn with visuals, and I'm definitely a visual learner. So I just think about if I was coming to Ponder for the first time and I really didn't know what their menu was like, having an image to look at and be like, that looks amazing, I want to order that. I think that's more accessible in general. So that's kind of what I went with the photos. And then I decided to bold the font and make it pretty large. And so that's something I'm going to share in a moment, kind of the background details to why I chose the color green, why is the font white, why did I choose that font, why, all those things. So I am going to go into detail about that in a moment. But so yeah, I'm just super excited about how this turned out. I do have a description of all the ingredients that are listed in the menu. So that is helpful to see. And yeah, just keeping 4 items to a page. I numbered the page item down here. I tried to incorporate some design elements, but also being mindful of keeping it simple, not overwhelming the individual who may be reading this menu, and really just having the main focus be on the menu items themselves and the images on the page. So that's awesome. And then you may also see at the top, it says, click on any underlined text to have the menu item read aloud to you. Enjoy. So this is true. So I have downloaded this as a PDF right now, it is showing you in Adobe. But if you kind of see, if I hover over, it does pop up a link. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this to show you. I'm going to hit allow. I might need to re-share my screen with you. Okay. I'm hoping you can see this. I'm really not the best at okay, let's try this. Okay, hopefully you can see this. So what I did was I clicked on that link that said the Martinez, and then it takes you to a separate link, which is an audio of reading that menu item aloud. So I'm going to go ahead and play this, and also going to make sure you can hear the audio on it. Okay, share sound. Hopefully you can hear this. The Martinez, $8.50. Strawberry jam, brown sugar cinnamon, Granny Smith apples, cheddar cheese, pan roasted turkey, and it is served cold or grilled on sourdough bread. All right, so that was my voice. Yes, I did individually record and kind of read aloud each item, and that is what is embedded to every single individual item. So obviously, every item will have its own link, which is reading the correct menu item. I did go through and check that all those lined up and was correct. And it also does read the name of the menu item and the price of it as well. I thought that was really cool. I think it's really fun that it's a personal touch and it's my own voice. That was definitely a tricky part of this project, was kind of locating um how to really do audio. I did use Canva to create this project, and Canva is awesome and has a lot of tools, but I struggled to find out how I could do audio within Canva. So the way that I did it was I actually recorded voice messages on my phone of each item individually, and then I sent all of those over to my laptop, and then I downloaded those in Google Drive. And then each one of those became a link that I could copy and paste into the menu, which would hyperlink, and anyone who has the link can access it and hear it. So there is no boundaries with that. It's not protected really by anything. Anyone with the link can use it. So I thought that was really cool. Definitely something I would hope to kind of tweak in the future or make it even more universally designed, is to have it read aloud while remaining on the menu page. That was something I just wasn't able to do with my, I guess the softwares I had, and the technology skills I have and the understanding, and just with the time frame. And again, universally designed is definitely something that is a longer process to really understand how can it be accessible for everyone, regardless of ability or disability. And so I do recognize that my menu is not perfect and there's so much room to improve. But again, it's something I'm excited about and proud of. And I think this is really cool. So, okay, let me go back to the menu. Okay, I think we're back. Let me see. Maybe not. Oh, yes. Okay. All right. You're the pro with this, always sharing your screen in class. I don't share my screen often. So, okay, but we're back. Something else I wanted to point out before I kind of scroll through the next couple pages is that if you hover over the Ponder Coffee logo, which that is the logo that they use, so I wanted to make sure it kind of matches with their aesthetic and their brand because it is for their restaurant. If you click on this, there's actually a link hidden. Yeah, I'm going to reshare my screen in just a moment. I'm going to make sure this pops up first. But basically, this link kind of is a little bit intro about who I am and, my passions. Nothing long, but I did kind of want to include that in there somewhere hidden because like, this is really not about me. I love the project and I am very proud of it. And I think I've told all my friends about it so they know that I've made it. But if this were kind of published in Ponder, I kind of snuck this in as like a hidden gem if people stumble upon it. But if not, that's okay because it's really not about me. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for you as well. So let me go back to this page. All right. My name is Madison Moore, and I am passionate about diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. If you are using this menu today at Ponder Coffee Company, I hope it helps you decide which delicious items to order. Enjoy! My name is Madison. Okay, we only need to play that once. Yeah, so I personally think it's so silly to listen to my own voice, but again, kind of just like a hidden gem in there. If people find it, that'd be really cool. But if not, it's really short and sweet. yeah, so that was kind of my little personal touch or my name on it, if you could say. Okay, so kind of moving forward, again, I did have a page number at the bottom of the right corner of each page. This is the second page, so this is kind of broken up into more of their breakfast menus. If you kind of noticed on the previous page, these are all of their sandwiches. Let me correct myself, not all of them, but some of the sample ones. These are their waffles, which are so delicious, by the way. And so the links on the logo right here, as you can see, I'm pointing to, and the click on any underlined text, those are the same as before. So the audio that is about click on any underlined text, that's just reading that aloud for the individual to have that option. And then again, each individual link of the menu item will take you to a link that reads aloud peanut butter banana waffle, $9, and all the ingredients inside. I found all these pictures on their social media, which took some time and digging through some old pictures, but they are all of the pictures are from Ponder, which is really helpful. Next, I did a drink menu as well. So same idea, same links, things like that. Reading the menu out loud and just giving people a taste of kind of what they have to offer and what it looks like. I know that personally, coffee is so expensive to me, and I'm so sorry if you hear people yelling. Coffee is expensive to me, and I definitely don't like to go out of my comfort zone often with it. I always get the same thing, salted caramel latte or just an iced caramel latte. And so when I kind of do choose to step outside the comfort zone and get something, I don't know what it's going to be like or look like or taste like. That makes me uncomfortable. And then if it's a waste of money, I'm like, So I think it's just, I would love this. It'd be so helpful to kind of look at this more in depth and see the image as well and kind of just have that. Something else I want to know is that if this is presented in Ponder Coffee Company, I would have them on display both printed, well, actually, disregard that. I would have it on a QR code. So ideally, I would have kind of like a clear stand that stands up on the counter. That's a QR code that says scan for a visual menu or appropriate wording with that. They would be able to scan it on their phone, and then this PDF would pull up on their device, and then all those links come along with the PDF. So they would be able to click on everything individually. Those audios would pop up, they could hear it. And yeah, it's just really cool. I think I would also have them printed out as well, but just kind of specify between the two. If audio is needed, scan the QR code. If you would just enjoy the visuals, here's a printed out version as well. So I thought that was really cool, and I'm really proud of it. Okay, I'm gonna take a moment to share my other screen with you. Okay, let me exit out of this one. So many screens. I'm gonna try again. I don't know if it worked. Here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna make this larger. Again, this is the link screen that they would see. Another one is the other example I showed you. This is Ponder Coffee Company's Instagram. So this is where I did most of my stalking for the project to find the photos I needed, crop and edit them as I needed, and then I would download them to my laptop and upload them to the Canva. So I just wanted to show you the kind of like their aesthetic, and I've used some of these pictures before, so that's really awesome. And I'm gonna get to the color thing next, but I did choose dark green for the menu for accessible purposes. But what's awesome is that Ponder Coffee Company, one of their colors is this dark green color, if you can kind of see right here in the coffee that they're selling. And I just thought that was amazing because not only is that accessible, proven to be, which I'm about to talk about, but it matches. And so that's even another reason that it can be included in their restaurants. So yeah, just a little bit overview of that. This is Ponder's website. So this is what it looks like just as is website, kind of what they have. So they do list all of their items with the description, but as you can see, there's no photos. And this is a lot of text on one screen, which through the research I had done and looked at several different articles and kind of I watched some videos and I read some kind of personal testimonies of people with disabilities and what that's like, especially with from intellectual disability perspective. And a lot of text on one screen can be extremely overwhelming and hard to kind of depict and decipher with the eye. So that's another reason why I chose to only do 4 items on a page and really make sure that we're honing in on those items and it's not overbearing for anyone. Yeah, and I think that could be something great Ponder could do online as well. So if they choose to kind of start implementing the photo images idea, I think they could drop it into each of these little boxes kind of where there's a knife and fork in place currently. So, okay, let me show you the next page. Trying to move my, okay. This is the menu. So again, like I mentioned, Ponder has several different locations. So for my menu, I chose a lot of the items that are offered at the Franklin location and the downtown location. So those menus are pretty they intertwine. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but they do intertwine. So most of the food that is sold, food and drinks that are sold at one is also offered at the other. Not so much for our on-campus locations. Most of those are just coffee, but there are some treats that they sell there as well. So if this became a larger project or something they were interested in, I would just have to be sure to kind of really narrow in on what each location offers and to make sure to change those menu items for those different locations. Kind of like I mentioned, here's their downtown location. You can kind of see even that green on their website. This kind of talks about their, their message and philosophy as Ponder Coffee. This is the owners. So I had the opportunity to meet with the man on the left. I did not meet his wife, but I've heard wonderful things about her. And yeah, they're just really kind people. And I'm excited that hopefully they'll enjoy this and it's something that we can see. Okay, this I find so fascinating. So I'm excited to share this with you. So this is something I did not know about previously, but something I found throughout my throughout this entire project is kind of the importance of color contrast and how individuals perceive color, what that looks like for someone who may be colorblind, what it's like for, the, I guess, so average individual or the standard eyesight as someone may call it. So I actually got to test the colors I used on my menu, and it's proven to be accessible. So a little bit of background before I get into that. So the standard contrast ratio is at least 4.5 to 1, and for normal text, and for large text, it's 3 to 1. So that number is relatively low, but what that essentially means is the higher that first number, so 4.5 higher, so if you think of 5 to 1 instead of 4.5, the better. That is just kind of the required so that it is something that is readable, but that is pretty low. And so what that might look like would be maybe a light gray background with a white text on top. If you think about what that might look like, it could be a little bit hard. Individuals may start to squint when they look at it, things like that. I also thought it was cool that on this website they talk about the size of the font. So large text is defined as 14 point and bold or larger. And so it's something I used in my menu as well. Everything on the menu is at least 14 point, if not larger. Most of it is 14.5, and depending on the page or the item and how much room was in that space, some of that even goes up to 17. Excuse me. Lots of talking. Okay. So, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm gonna cough again. Okay. Um, so that was super interesting. I love that. I think that was really cool and cool for me to think about how I'm designing my menu and how it is truly, truly accessible. So I love that. Okay. Um, so yeah, I love this website. And then I actually did get to put in my colors. So the way I did this was if we go to Canva real quick and you can see this, this is in the editing mode. I just showed you the, well, this is the final as well, but I showed you the downloaded PDF version. This is within the Canva platform. So if I kind of select that, you see the purple border shows up, and then you see this color. So this is the background color, which is gives me this little code 32471B. And then if you hover over this box, which is a slightly darker color, it gives me the code for that, which is 1C290E. So that is the color code that I put into this generator, 1C290E. And the foreground color, which is the text color on top of that, is white. And so that code is F, 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 F. And then it gave me my contrast ratio, which is 15.29 to 1. So kind of how I explained earlier, the higher the number, the better. And so with this color being pretty close to almost black, which is the darkest color on the color spectrum, that black to white comparison, this is a really, really great number to see. And then underneath this, you can kind of see it passes all of the tests that are needed to be accessible. So it says pass, pass, pass for normal text, large text, even the graphical objects and user interface components. So I love that. That was just really, really awesome to me and something I've never thought about either. So I think it's really cool to kind of have this website in my back pocket now for all the things I might be creating in my internship next year when I'm working for CMU alumni, when I'm creating graphics for Leadership Safari, RSOs, any of those things that are being pushed out for everyone to see. This is just such a simple step that I can implement and make sure I'm being more accessible. Okay, so let me minimize that really quickly. I'm gonna share one last screen. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. My bad. I'm gonna move this down, open this up. Awesome. Okay, so this is something you've obviously already seen, but I kind of just wanted to touch on the synthesis matrix as a part of my project as well. This was super helpful in kind of getting a background of what menu accessibility looks like, what restaurant accessibility looks like, how it kind of differs from universal design, and that word accessible. And so it was super interesting. And I've never used the synthesis matrix before. So it was very nice to kind of organize my information, lay it out. And this was a tool I continuously came back to and kind of, thought about and compared kind of what I was working on to this to make sure I was kind of hitting all the boxes and checking all the boxes, I guess I meant to say. So yeah, just all the things I talked about already, but color contrast accessibility is extremely important. Text under photos, which is alternative text. And this was like, I mentioned this in the beginning, but there's such a great need for accessible menus because disability or not, everyone benefits. And that's something we've talked about all semester, but I just think it's silly sometimes when people think accessible options, they have to go out of their way and how many people will actually use it? Literally everyone can use it. So that's further proving the point. Large font is extremely accessible. And making sure that we're paying attention to the detail. And so the color contrast, the things like that. How large are the images? how are we displaying this QR code? What if this happens? All those things. And something I'd like to point out as well is if this does kind of go through to being in the restaurants, I would love to be able to personally connect with the staff who work at Ponder and just kind of sharing basically this presentation with them, but talking about my passion about it, talking about how and why it is important and kind of how to display it in a restaurant as well. I think it's extremely important to not just have an accessible option, but make sure that your staff are trained on it and aware of kind of how to interact with people who may need it. I think offering it is always a great thing to do rather than making the individual go out of their way to ask for it or making them uncomfortable. I think when it's kind of similar to when you go into a restaurant and you're greeted by the hostess and they say, how many? And then they get the menus. You could just say, oh, hi, like my name's Madison. How many are here today? And would anyone like a visual menu or an accessible menu, whichever verbiage is more appropriate. But yeah, I would love to talk to them about that. And I think that would be really useful in educating them and kind of, you know, I think there's power in sharing passion and just power in talking about these things. And so even if, it's something they're not super comfortable with or may not even understand, they're hearing this. And then I think they're more prone to interacting with people with disabilities, telling someone about it, showing people the menu, whether they, need it or not. So I think it's really awesome. But yeah, just continuing down the line here, I had several different sources. I thought this was cool. Personal testimony. You should care about all the customers, emphasis on all. I think it's so easy for people with disabilities to feel excluded in every area of life, which is just the unfortunate truth. And so, even when, we might take for granted going to a restaurant and being able to independently choose what we want for dinner. Not everyone can do that, or sometimes they may be perceived as not being able to do that. But if they just had the tool that would help them, such as an accessible menu, things would look a lot different. So all of those things are just things I thought of. Again, a rough draft version for sure. I tried my best to include audio, but maybe not the best technology. I would also love to learn more about Braille and kind of the use of that and, how that works with printing and how that maybe works digitally, possibly. All those things were areas I'd like to grow in. But yeah, I won't go too much more in depth into this. I know I've already submitted it and read it. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing. And let me move this over. Okay. But yeah, that is my capstone project. So I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you think, oh, I'm so sorry. I hope this is on my screen. Okay, I think I'm in the right spot. But truly, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed my capstone project. I know I did. I loved working on this semester. I kind of told you it comes from personal place in my heart, especially with the connections I've had with people with disabilities within my own family, outside my family, friends, and just working towards a more accessible world. Accountability for accessibility is my dream. And I hope I live to see it. But if not, I hope that I can make a change in the small things I'm creating every day, and that it encourages the next generation to move forward with those plans. So let me know if you have any questions. Please feel free to reach out. Thank you so much for everything you've done for us as students this semester, not only in this class, but all the other classes I've had you in, and just always being a smiling face and someone we can rely on. So thank you. I will keep you updated if these happen to be in Ponder. Hopefully, if you see them in town, give me a call, or an email. I'll be really, really pumped. But thank you so much, and have a great rest of your night.